Hi, I'm Jungle Pork. I play games. I've played games for a long time, and I browse the social internet webs, and that's about it.
Cool. Who's next?
Hey, I'm Mathan.
What do you do, Mathan?
I'm an electrical engineering student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I like to play video games and watch anime and listen to music on YouTube.
What are some of your favorite animes, Mathan?
Gundam Wing.
Giant robots.
Yeah, giant robots. I enjoy the occasional slice of life animes like Sweetness and Lightning.
So you're pretty deep in the anime world.
Yeah.
And then we have
I'm Baby Corns, and I like dogs with crooked teeth, and I like playing games with my Scramly, and I like to buy things that I don't need, and I like mail. And that's it.
I didn't know about the mail thing.
I'm full of
What's up?
surprises.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Yesser, and I paint in oils during the week and like to play video games and watch movies and TV shows and YouTubes and meme it up and some goofs and some gaffs.
So basically, we all do things other people already do, except for Mathan. He's special.
No, I do
That's what I'm
stuff.
gathering. No, I do his stuff.
I do everyday
You're
stuff.
an anime
like
connoisseur, and you go to school. A real school. So, what's our first topic?
So, what's everyone into? What's the games right now? What's the hype games right now?
Well, me personally, I think there's kind of a lull in games for the most part. Like there was a big like hit for when Overwatch came out, and then ArcAge was having a fresh start server. But other than that, there's not anything that's like real hitter for the most part. Like I've been playing random game. Like I downloaded Paladins and played that for like 10 or 15 hours, and just not a good game at all. Like super buggy. It's like a really bad Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a really shitty Overwatch.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little unfair saying it's like terrible, but it's just like when there's Overwatch, why play anything else than Overwatch in terms of like that genre and stuff.
For a while, you were cramming Path of Exile.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely my favorite game for sure. Yeah, Path of Exile came out with a new league, and those are usually big hits for the most part. It's just new stuff.
What about you, Mathan? You're still popping in and out of WoW.
Yeah, this is just the game I can never leave. I'm just trying to get all the mounts. I recently got Mimiron's head after
Oh,
years.
you did?
Yeah.
Damn. And then, how close are you to that? Is it the spider one?
Oh, that's 700k. I need 700k left. Close.
Damn.
Close.
And then what? Then you uninstall and wait for more?
Yeah. What was the game we were playing recently? Battlegrounds. That's a game it's pretty fun. Like,
Yeah. Still have to get Shane that game. I mean, I don't know who that guy is, but...
Yeah, I've heard that guy's a jungle pork, but that aside, I don't know. I've seen PUBG, and it looks like a good game. Like it looks like it's for being. I mean, everything's early access, but for being early access, it's like pretty polished. I watched Summit play quite a bit of it, and I've seen like it's not like excessively buggy, but I mean, there's bugs. Obviously, there's going to be bugs in a game like that, but it's nothing like how H1Z1 was when it was like kind of first peeping out. Like it was just everything was buggy. Nothing like worked properly. It was just real fucked. But it had a lot of potential. So everyone was like, really trying to play it. And with PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, it's like it's kind of like what H1Z1 should have been, really. Like in terms of not having like near as much bugs and being like more polished and stuff. I'd say it's like I think I was talking to you, Derek, about it before, but it seems like it's like a kind of hybrid between Arma and H1Z1, whereas like H1Z1's like an arcadey kind of game. It's like more arcadey where you like jump around and like it's pretty realistic in a lot of ways, but it's way more arcadey than like Arma, for instance. Arma is like way more realistic and that kind of stuff. Whereas like
Mhm.
PlayerUnknown seems like kind of a mix between the two. And usually I'm not keen on like anything like I don't really care about realism really. Like that's why H1Z1 attracted me because it's kind of arcadey shooter, just hee haw, fun times.
Yeah.
But
I think there's definitely things about each one of them that's like cool that separates them enough that you could still like I feel like they would, as much as for some people I'm sure it's like it replaces the game, but like
yeah.
I think they're different enough that you could still have fun playing, like having both and playing both at different times.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like how in the one thing about H1Z1 that I actually like would have liked in that game was the customization that PlayerUnknown has. PlayerUnknown has like the Arma customization, where I'm pretty sure Arma has that customization where you can like deck out your guns and deck out your stuff, and like that is just a big thing on PlayerUnknown. Where as much as I don't like getting super tactical, it's still nice that it's there. Like it's still a feature of the game, and it's never a negative one for me.
Well, it's nice because you can actually get like a fucking weapon sight, so you're not just stuck with the iron sights the whole game.
Yeah. So yeah, PlayerUnknown looks like has a lot of potential. Like it looks like it could be the best like battle arena survival kind of thing for sure. Like, I mean, it's already like contending with H1Z1. I'm pretty sure like H1Z1's 8 gig update is like, I mean, it might have been in the works for a while, but it's just seems kind of like coincidency that it came out like right. It's like I wouldn't be surprised if they hurried it out because of PlayerUnknown. Like I mean, all the big streamers playing PlayerUnknown and all the people playing it. Like if H1Z1 were just like, yeah, we need to get this out kind of thing.
I'm not gonna lie, it makes me want to play H1.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's a new patch.
Yeah. H1 looks. I'd like to test it.
I feel like that's the one thing we always said. I wish that it had spectating, and now that it does,
Yeah.
I kind of want to give it the chance to see.
Yeah. Not being able to spectate killed team play a lot because you died and you just you just either sat there and didn't see anything or you just
waiting
left the game.
Is the worst part.
Yeah.
I think, especially if you die early.
Having weapon attachments in PlayerUnknown, I could almost see like H1 trying to figure out how they could do something like that too. And
I would kind of hate that. I don't know. It kind of makes me apprehensive to play PlayerUnknown because I kind of gravitate towards games that are super easy to play, like dumb baby games.
Overwatch is really...
That is my number one dumb baby game because I don't have to figure out what kind of gear I need or whatever, or
there's no
gemming, that kind of stuff always puts me off because I don't want to have to learn like a whole new thing to do, what's going to make me powerful or perform well, like whatever the meta is. Like I don't care about that kind of stuff.
You really like it sounds like it's like arcadey stuff, and I kind of
I want to
really
play,
like
jump in and play. I don't want to have to I got to figure out my gear or whatever. That's why I like H1Z1. You just not knowing anything about guns. I had to kind of understand what a pistol was, what the basics, but that was so easy for me, and H1 kind of taught me that. But it was really easy to pick up. I feel like everyone I knew that never played games, I would tell them to play it, and they could just jump in and kind of get it after a few tries.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, I mean, and this is obviously the case in PUBG, but like the most I'd say difficult thing in H1Z1 when it comes to like your guns and stuff is just figuring out what ammo goes with what.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And I mean the ammo spawns next to the gun, so you kind of like pick that up right away. And then that makes looting and stuff. You just run through and you say, oh, that's ammo for my gun. You pick it up. But I mean that's like the most advanced thing. So like I said, I think PlayerUnknown is like it's kind of it's a hybrid between the two. And
and I think it's cool though, like you said. I think it's cool that it has an option, and that's why I want to try it and see how far I can get in it. But for me, it's not something I'm so excited about.
Oh yeah, it's a feature, and I don't really like. I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's cool, it's in, but like I'm not like super excited about it. Like the thing that excited me the most was the spectator. Like that, as soon as I saw that, I was like, whoa, like that's like. And then H1Z1 came out with it, and I was like, oh, okay.
I think that's what made me go, okay. Like, before, I mean, I got the game, I bought it for people, I said, this is going to be awesome, like, it looks fun, because it had that feature, and now H1 just slams that out, you know, not very much later, and now I'm just like, well, now I kind of want to play H1 and see what that's like.
Yeah.
I will add, though, the spectate on Battlegrounds is pretty shit still. It makes you think your teammate can't aim and has, has a cat on their keyboard.
Well, I think H1 at this point has a lot more polish on the game than
so there's
Battlegrounds. So, but I mean, I haven't seen H1 Spectator. Might be horrible too, but I feel like playing H1 is right now a little bit nicer experience. The other thing is that I think with player is that you need a pretty decent computer.
A beast computer. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that it's not like super optimized.
It's not optimized at all yet. Hopefully that's something before summer hits or something.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a big thing for me too. Is I mean, I don't have like a super fucking beast computer, so games that are like, oh yeah, you need like, it's like cutting edge, you need like super beast computers and stuff. Those usually kind of turn me off just because I'm kind of anal about my FPS and performance in games. Like and by anal I mean like not like a lot of people who say like it'll be like 60 FPS or something, but I'm looking for more just because of my monitor. But
regardless, it can affect your gameplay. So of course it's gonna, and you'll know because you know your computer better than anyone.
Yeah, and you can feel it.
Yeah, I think. But I mean, my biggest thing with PlayerUnknown is I was kind of trying not to like get super hyped about it, and like I'm still kind of like standoffish because I just want to give it some time before I like dive on it, you know, because I don't know.
Yeah, I think the game definitely needs some time. But one of the things I do think is interesting about PlayerUnknown is that they do eventually want to open it up for modding so that people can like use the game to make their own game modes. And I think there might be some like pretty interesting things there where people will have the ability to mess with it and come up with like pretty interesting concepts. I mean, I was even curious I was like thinking about it because I was like, you know, with a game like PlayerUnknown with that kind of a setup, like you could easily make a game mode using that game that mimics what APB was with like a multi-stage, like objective-based thing that ends in a deathmatch or something. You know, just simplify it, but have that idea of like having the huge map and like you have to move in vehicles from like point to point and capture them and like have like infinite respawns during those timed periods and stuff, and then just make it like a really super simplified version of like what that was. And like, I don't know, there could be a lot of potential within like what they could do with mods when it comes to PlayerUnknown.
Yeah, games opening their game up to modding is usually a good idea. I mean, like even Overwatch sort of did it with the like their own custom game modes and stuff. It's not as intense, you know, it's not as crazy like full on modded where you can like change mechanics of the game and stuff, but it's still pretty cool. Like there's some pretty fun game modes and stuff that are in it.
Have you seen those custom games where they have Pokemon RP servers?
They do have a lot. They have an abnormal amount of roleplay servers and Overwatch custom games. I noticed.
They're kind of dark places.
RP seems like it's like actually, as much as people make fun of it, it has like a pretty big like following. I mean, look at Arma. That like RP servers on Arma are like huge. Like tons of people going. I'm pretty safe to say that RP servers on Arma are like the most popular thing.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's like the primary draw of Arma is like people just go in there and do the military RP and fight AI. And
I
was gonna say Magic would always say that people in Arma would just like you can set things up with like voice chat servers where like you can only hear people within certain distances, and like they go completely all out.
I was gonna say about PlayerUnknown, one thing I really like that I had always thought it would be cool if H1 had it was where you pick your own drop from a helicopter or a plane.
Oh yeah, that is nice.
I wonder if H1 would pick that up at some later time.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, it's like I feel like that's something that a lot of people would like. I think more people would love that than would not like that. You know, like I know people have dealt with the you get spawned in Africa, and it's like you can't really go anywhere or do anything. That's
Where you get Denny's 4 times in a row.
yeah, real fun. But yeah, I don't know. Player Unknown, like it seems like a ton of potential, and it already looks like really good. I'm just like sort of waiting to see, if like the hype wears off at some point or something crazy happens. I'm sure nothing like I'm sure they wouldn't kill their own game, but anything can happen.
I mean, I just imagine having the two out, they'll just keep pushing each other, and we'll see a lot of content and updates pushed out pretty quickly now that they are like actually competing.
Yeah, that's the best thing about PlayerUnknown coming out is like H1 didn't have any competition. They just kind of sat and just kind of lived through the fact that they didn't have anyone to compete against. So
Yeah,
They're-
they're filling a niche.
And they're oddly set up like decently for esport kind of a thing, and like
well, I know Summit and them were like really like doing it competitively. Like he's trying to get like number one, and there's like a lot of people that are like really trying to.
yeah, and it's interesting because it's a game that you can like solo in esport, like versus like a lot of other games are like you have to get it on a team and stuff like that. I mean, there is the team aspect, and I'm sure like that will open up too, but a lot of it is doing the solo BR, and on Twitch you have these BR games, getting up there with like pretty much the same as the highest views for stuff like League of Legends and Dota. So, I mean, I could see like this becoming kind of like a next, or like sort of the FPS League of Legends or Dota type of game.
Mm-hmm.
To switch gears, before I was dying, the game that I was most hype about was Ghost Recon Wildlands. And I have to say, I don't think I've ever laughed so hard playing a game in a really long time.
Yeah, that game is definitely. I mean, I could see people play it solo, but I feel like the maybe not so much the design, but like it ended up just being for me like a really co-op-y game. Like it seems like it's sort of meant to just like work together cooperatively, and like all the funny stuff that can happen in it when you're just like flying around.
I feel
whatever.
like that's like when the game shines brightest, is when you're like able to co-op together. And
with like Far Cry, when I was playing that, I was like, man, I love this, but it would be so fun if I could play with more people.
Me too. Yeah. I don't even I don't understand why more game companies don't think. I mean, like, it would be really fun to have a game like Wildlands that's like 8 players, and you have like, and then they could set up like missions that are kind of like the missions that happen in the GTA heists, where it's like people have to like hit this like radio tower over here, while like once that tower's down, then it like opens the door and the other team can like assault the base, or some different just cool co-op experiences. Like, I think there's a lot of room for that.
Battlefield, but like more objective based, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my favorite Battlefields was 2142, and that had one of the coolest kind of objective game modes, where it was this mode called Titan mode, where you'd had to assault these rocket tower things on the ground that would shoot rockets at these giant spaceships that were in the air, and eventually the towers would take the shields down off the spaceships, and instead of attacking and like assaulting and capturing the rocket towers on the ground from there, then you'd be like taking drop ships and stuff up to the spaceship and like trying to infiltrate, and inside the ship there was like 4 different control panels that you had to like break, and then it would open up the core, and then you could assault in, and it literally just like, it had that moment from like Star Wars where they're like sitting on the ship like waiting, and then the doors like blast open and the guys come in and they're trying to like attack, and like it just created so many cool moments of like feeling like you were in these like movies and action sequences that you've seen.
Yeah, Wildlands is definitely probably one of the most relaxing games. Like, there's really no, I don't know, like you don't really have to. I mean, yeah, there's like the whole, like a lot of bases, and I mean, we're playing the game on the hardest difficulty, so you kind of have to like sort of pay attention and stuff, and not fuck stuff up. But at the same time, it's like there's no downside. Like if you guys fucking die or like fuck up, you just try again. There's no like
Yeah, you don't
So
really lose anything.
yeah,
You
which I
can
kind of like.
also, like, the game lets you kind of, like, play at the pace you want to, too. So, like, when you go into, like, attack a pace, it's like, it has, like, you can scout it out and determine which guys you want to pick off first and play very methodically, too. So it's like, you can play it in a way where you kind of kick back.
Yeah, you make your own strategies and kind of figure out how you want to go about it. If you want to do it quick or if you want to take your time and be super tactical and stealth.
And I mean, I really like the, tactical, all the gear and all the stuff you can change and put on, and then getting into, the gunfights and having it feel pretty tactical.
Yeah, I'm really interested how the multiplayer is gonna come into play in terms of the game. I haven't like looked ever since they like kind of announced it, like coming up to the release. I haven't like looked and saw if they gave out any other info about it, but
I mean, they've literally just left it at that there will be PvP at some point.
yeah, I wonder how that is gonna go. Because I remember you saying that it would be cool if it was like objective-based PvP. If it was like both teams had to like you had to like defend something, and the other team had to like try to take the tower instead of just straight up
Yeah.
deathmatchy stuff. Like
I mean, that's how I would
wouldn't
like
mind.
it.
Yeah, I still wouldn't mind a deathmatchy thing, but I feel like the longevity, it would have a lot more if it was like objective. If you had to like
It would be
defend something
cool
or-
too if they kind of if they made it objective based, like here's the objective, you capture it and hold it for X amount of time while the other team tries to capture it from you or whatever, something. It could be that simple for me. And it'd be cool if you basically opened up the entire map on the world, and then you let people make their own custom games by just picking this is the spot you have to hold and people have to go attack it.
Yeah.
So, objective-based PvP. First thing that comes to my mind would be APB Reloaded. I don't know if anyone's playing that now or if that's a dead game. Do you
I
guys have
just
comments?
downloaded that game.
I
So-
just played.
Huh.
So wait, what? Okay, so what happened? Did you get unbanned?
No, someone told me that they were the other day before a while ago. They said that they were unbanning people who had been banned on Punkbuster, which I got verified. So that wouldn't really affect me. I didn't care then. But then the other day, someone told me that they had gotten verified. They told me that hey, I was able to log into my account, but I couldn't log into districts or something, some weird stuff. So I thought I'd just download it and see. And I didn't have that. Mine's still banned, but. I went around and asked people if they changed anything about the game, and there's absolutely zero changes about the game. It's still the same it used to be.
Yeah, it looked like it pretty much should just maintain.
Yeah.
For a minute, I was thinking you got unbanned, and then I was like, oh man, did they fire Tiggs or something?
No. I think that's pretty much the only thing that could happen where I could possibly get unbanned is if someone else came into a position where I could talk to them, because I can't talk to Tiggs. But yeah, I mean, APB is kind of a pretty good example of something that could be really, because that game has held on for so long, and I think it's been just because it has so much potential, and even though it's got so many issues, it still keeps going because of just that potential of how good of a game it could be. And I mean, I'd still say it's a pretty good game, but there's just a lot of issues with it. But I mean, a lot of games.
I feel
really
the base concept of having this huge open world where you have to keep traveling from point to point, so that you're always kind of approaching things differently because you never quite use the same route to go everywhere. And then having I always liked how it was stage based with infinite respawn. There's a lot of things they did really well.
The
Yeah,
customization too.
Oh yeah, they did a lot. They have, like I said, they
really
have a lot
hard.
of stuff that's could be an example for a lot of the games. Their customization is something that games could use, and they just the objective gameplay. I think the whole the fact that you have this persistent world and you do objectives all over the world, and you also see other people. I think that's kind of cool. You could just watch people play, watch people do objectives and stuff, and play the game.
It's definitely cool, doing a mission while there's, other missions going on next to you and, other people are fighting.
Yeah.
It would be cool if it was just open world PvP, and those people who are doing missions you could also like sabotage and fight with.
Yeah, another
also be
game.
hell, but I mean it would be fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I wanted the Chaos District to be.
Another game that is sort of like that was Firefall, and I was like, I kind of got into that game and I really liked it for a while. But it kind of got old. Like I don't know, there just wasn't.
Yeah.
I just kind of lost interest, but I did like how it was like a persistent world, and you could just like be like running along or something, and there's an event happening. It's kind of like Guild Wars, and they're like random world events that happen, and you just be fighting this giant boss or this stuff with these people.
Well, one of the things I always thought was pretty cool in APB was how you could get called in as backup to somebody else's. Like, they could be like getting like losing a mission and then call backup, and then you show up like halfway through. Like, you, I don't know, it has like a cool feeling of like when you show up and you start fighting and you like turn the tides and stuff.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a pretty cool feature too. That's not necessarily in a lot of other games. I mean, like in Overwatch, for instance, you can join a game where people left, but it doesn't. It's not the same feeling as if you're just like chilling, sitting in a district or sitting somewhere and you just ready up and get thrown into a mission. But yeah, one game that I'm like really interested in will be coming out is Destiny 2, and I'm sure everyone is pretty interested in that as well, just because it wasn't on PC and now it's going to be on PC.
I've heard about it. I don't really know too much about it, but other than a few friends got completely consumed about it with console.
It's
Yeah. I don't
It's
know a
kinda
whole lot
like-
about it either, but I know Bungie makes it, and Bungie's like my favorite company ever.
So from what I know is, so Bungie are the people who made Halo, so it's got kind of like a Halo vibe in the sense that it's like a sci-fi future, but then the other thing is that it's also kind of inspired by like kind of like knights and stuff, so the future has like this, it's like they're kind of like knights, like future knights and stuff, but they have like space rifles and stuff, and so the game is a lot like a super serious, like more of a larger world Borderlands. So like sort of like Borderlands where you go around, you kill mobs and you kill bosses and you get loot, like you get guns for loot. It has like that vibe, but I believe the guns are a lot more like WoW loot, where it's like there isn't too much variance. There isn't like random mods on the gun. It's like they think pretty much all the guns are the gun that they are. But then you can like level up the guns. So it's a lot of like grindy RPG, like Diablo-y, Borderlands-y, Division-y.
Multiplayer as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like raids and stuff. So you can do like big, like hard bosses that require like you to like coordinate and stuff. And then they have like smaller things and
They have PvP
where you
as
just,
well.
yeah. And then that's the other thing that gets big is that all the weapons and gear and stuff that you have amounts to being able to go into these like arena style PvP things and just deathmatch against people. I'm sure there's like other game modes too. So it's basically like really RPG first person sci-fi shooter. Serious Borderlands.
Well, I mean, that doesn't super excite me, but if everyone else is excited, then I get excited. I'm impressionable.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I usually like the idea of it sounds pretty cool, but I'll just probably wait until I see like gameplay video and stuff of people. That's usually how I go and check and see if it's something I'd really be interested. I mean, I'm assuming it'll be pretty much identical to the first one in terms of like the game and stuff. And the first one always looked fun, but obviously it's on the console, so you can't really even try it out or anything. But it definitely looked like a pretty fun game. I don't know like the idea of grinding isn't necessarily like, it doesn't sound fun to me, but at the same time I've played plenty of games that grind. Like, I mean, I played Diablo, I played Path of Exile, and plenty of other games that have a grinding mechanic in it, so I'm never like really turned off fully by something.
It's definitely a shooter looter.
Yeah, and I mean that sounds pretty good. Like, I loved Borderlands. Like, Borderlands is one of my favorite games. And you could, I mean, it's a shooter looter for sure.
But with having the PvP, that would be more, you kind of get kind of a Titanfall-esque thing. And I think the characters are classes, so you get like magic using characters. So there's like, every character has a little bit of a different ability to them.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be interesting to try. Hopefully it'll be worth the price, whatever it
We're all
is.
getting collector's editions
Oh,
anyway.
are we?
With the statue of the
Does it come with a
Master
statue?
Chief.
I love how that's always a
Probably.
thing with collector's editions. You get a statue.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just want to see someone's shelf with just a bunch of collector's edition statues from different games.
I bet somebody literally does.
I don't know. I don't understand the appeal unless you really love the character, but I wouldn't know if I would if I didn't even play the game yet.
The only statue that I would ever want would be the mech from Titanfall, because I always thought that mech was cool. I just had a small little thing that I was going to talk about, and I was going to ask you guys what your thoughts were.
Sure, go for it.
Recently, it was my birthday, and for my birthday, I got some brand new shoes. And I know.
Wait, when the fuck was your birthday? Oh wait, it was. Yeah, never mind. I was making sure I gave you a happy birthday.
He did.
And I've been enjoying my new shoes. And I know Nathan was into it, and he went for it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, for as comfortable as my shoes are, I can understand for some people like why they wouldn't be down. I got Adidas Ultra Boosts. They were about $200. And so I was curious, like, how much is too much for you guys to spend on shoes?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, it's something you wear. So for me, it's like, for the most part, they should have their, like, I mean, it's going to be used. You're going to be wearing it. You're going to be using it. Like, you're going to be out in public, blah, blah, blah. So fashion to me, I've always understood why it can be crazy expensive, and why people are okay with paying that because, you're going to be using it. You're going to be out in public. People are going to be seeing it. The most I've spent on a pair of shoes was like $120, and it was on a pair of Jordans. It was either Jordans or something in high school when I was playing basketball. And really, there was no reason. Like it's just like I was kind of caught up. I just wanted, like, they were just a really nice pair of shoes, and I wanted them. But I'm not like really big on high priced shoes or anything. Like usually, it really just comes down, like, if I'm like shoe shopping, I'm looking for something that's like, I don't want it to be like grainy shoes, like look really gross, but at the same time, I'm more down for like if it's comfortable and if it does what I want them to do.
So then what kind of shoes do you wear?
All throughout high school, I wore like a mix between Adidas and Jordans. Like Adidas, like Jordans for basketball, and then Adidas for pretty much everything else. Now I wear like I'm not entirely sure what the name of them. I would say canvas shoes is probably the proper name of them. And they're like probably the most comfortable like shoes I could find. I don't actually have them on me. I forget what they're called, but they're just a pair of canvas shoes that are like really, like, the padding on the inside is like really good. So, and like I've gotten to the point I'm so lazy now where I don't want to fucking tie my shoes, and I feel like it's just I'm getting old. Like I just want to slip into a pair of something and then just go. And canvas shoes are really good with that. Like I don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. I usually wear like either canvas shoes or I have a pair of Nikes that are they're not high tops. I forget what they're called, but Nikes and canvas shoes really for now. But they're all cheap. Like my canvas shoes were like $20 or something, like just real cheapy.
I would
Kind of shoes do you like?
I would never pay more than $100 for a pair of shoes.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm the faggot in this group.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really eat into brands and brand names and like fool myself. No offense, that they're amazing shoes. I like me a good bargain. So like the last pair of shoes I bought were from Kmart, and it was buy one get one free. So I got two pairs of shoes for $30.
For the price of one.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I don't know. Like nothing is ever going to speak to me that much that I need it so bad, and I can justify spending that much money on it because I know I can just buy like 10 pairs of shoes with that same amount of money and have more variety. Now there are so many stores that have super cheap shoes under $20, like different kinds, like heels and sandals and all this stuff, like Forever 21, H&M, like they have so many different shoes to choose from. I would rather go there and blow like $150 and just get a million pairs of shoes than spend it on one that I know I'm going to wear like a few times.
What about one that you know you're gonna wear like all the time?
I know that I don't wear shoes all the time, like one pair. That's not how I roll. Like, it doesn't go with every outfit for me. I'm not gonna, like, maybe gym shoe. I can justify a gym shoe maybe $100 tops. My current gym shoes were $8. And honestly,
Nice.
they feel $8. But I mean, what can you do? Like, that's the price you pay, literally. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking about like treating myself and buying a more expensive gym shoe, but again, I wouldn't do over 100.
So then, to you, like, what piece of a shoe justifies the higher price?
What piece of the shoe? I'm
The
not
part
sure
of
I
it
got
or
one.
feature.
Like, is it more about like how it would look, or more about like the
Uh,
function that it would play?
I guess the function. I would not buy a high heel for that much money, like, or a lot of money, because that's never going to be a comfortable shoe. And I don't think that it's going to ever really.
And you're not gonna wear high heels.
I'm not gonna wear high
every
heels
day.
all the time. And you know, they go with certain outfits. It's not like they always go with like everything. So I don't think that I would buy a high heel. But like I said, the only thing I can justify would be a gym shoe.
Yeah, I agree. The most justified high-priced like shoes for me are shoes that like are sports related, like
Yeah.
something like, you know, just running shoes or like basketball shoes or soccer shoes, like anything that's like really
Mhm.
sport related, because those have like a performance.
If it benefits
reasoning
you,
behind them.
right? Like
Yeah.
helps your arch or whatever, like things like that. I can see investing in,
Or
and
like
that
a
makes
Reebok
sense.
pump.
Right, sure. Or the one with the pizza pump that orders you pizza. But like I'm saying, things like that make more sense to me because I know I'm using it at least a few times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never like fully understood like a pair of like casual like like if someone bought a pair of loafers for like $200,
Right.
like that would like blow my mind.
That's very
$200?
bougie. I think I would do that if I had money to burn. Why not? You know, get
Yeah.
the nicest pair of like stupid shoes. You may
Yeah,
as
and
well.
I'm not like ragging on it because again, like you said, it's like, you know, you got the money.
I would
why
if I
not?
could.
And
Yeah.
To me, I just always wonder like that, like say the pair of loafers are $200. Like, what process makes them $200? Like, is the material like
It's
fucking
most likely the logo.
Hands
on the
cobbled by
top.
like a really dope Italian man.
Yeah.
Okay, then fine.
Only found on the top of a mountain somewhere where you have
Shoe.
to, you know,
Picked from a
Yeah.
mountain. Yeah.
exactly.
Looted from the
Grown
greatest
on the
Yeti
Himalayas.
in the yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered like that. I mean, if they like justified it, like, oh yeah, this is why, like, blah, 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 you know, then I get it, you know. But for me, it's just more of like a matter of ignorance. Like, I just don't really understand why they're so expensive. And at the end of the day, for me, I just feel like a lot of it's brand name. Like, it's just
Absolutely. People
Oh,
do
it
that.
is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not like
Which-
they grass
and
feed
they-
their cows and take the leather from them
And like, and with shoes like the Adidas Boosts and stuff, like they do stuff, you know, they could make enough shoes that like there'd be enough shoes for everybody, but they don't. And they like let it sell out so that it gets like hyped, and like they like do stuff like on purpose to make the shoes
Right,
like
which is
essentially
fine.
more exclusive. And
Things like that are, I get it. Yeezys, you know, Jordans, what, like, I get that you can collect those and it's like a fun thing to do and they're nice shoes, like they're not shit, but I think like, at least, yeah, like I said, like where I am right now, I would
Yeah.
feel guilty doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean they are, and at the end of the day, they are like sporty shoes. They're like shoes that you would like you could wear out, and makes it a lot more like understandable for me. You know, I'm not like if it was like a pair of loafers or like a $200 canvas
Right.
shoes,
Or if
I
you
would
invest in
really be
dress
confused.
shoes and you don't go out that
Mhm.
much, then it's kind of silly.
Yeah, like a $300 heels or something, and you go out, you use them like.
Well,
5
I
times.
mean for you, but I mean
or
if you're
something.
wearing heels, that's fine. I
Well,
don't judge.
You know, I've always considered good
You're
arch
already
support.
tall enough.
Yeah, I want to be tall. I want to be 6'5".
Okay.
I'm already 6'5".
What do
What
you
kind of-
have designer flip flops, Mathen? What kind of shoes do you wear?
Well, my slippers are Scott's.
Is that someone you know that you borrowed them from? Or?
Oh, I think that's like the brand that everybody has.
so my friend who has all the Yeezys and all the other shoes and stuff, he has 2 pairs of Gucci flip flops.
Gucci. Are those
I
expensive?
can get into that. I'm sure
Yeah,
they
they're-
would be.
They're
Uh,
They're like $500 each.
Yeah,
Dang.
that's obviously brand name. Like, I could not put my foot in something that's $500 and feel like, man, this is definitely $500. Like, you know,
Like
I feel like
the
it's
Adidas,
exclusiveness.
like the Boost shoes, like I'd say, like they have like a noticeable feel when you put them in the Boost. But I still don't believe that the materials that it takes, even though the Boost material is proprietary, like I still don't imagine it's super, super expensive for them to make these shoes. But
Absolutely
at
not.
least there is like there's a lot of science that goes behind it, so there's like at least a level of justification. But I mean the Yeezys when they get rare, I mean those things become like $1,000, and that's like I think kind of out of line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these Gucci sandals right now that are like $400, and I don't know. It doesn't. Again, it's just I think it's brand name. Obviously, I mean it's Gucci. I wear a pair of Hollister flip flops that were like literally $10. Like costed like nothing, and they're pretty comfortable. I've had them for like I don't even know how many years, probably 5 or 6.
Well, that's a good investment. The flip flops I buy are like $5 at Old Navy. It's seasonal, so I just throw them out when summer's over. I don't have like a long term flip flop, so I mean that's a good investment. I think one that you can save. So, okay, you wear Scott Hawaii shoes, flip flops.
I get Olakai.
Interesting. So, besides flip flops, what other kind of shoes do you wear, Mathen?
Assortment of Nikes, Jordans, and some Converse. Yeah.
Nathan,
And
did
you've been
you
in the
have a
sneaker collecting
phase?
game though, haven't you? Like since high school.
No, in high school. After that, when there were bills to be paid, I realized there were better things to spend money on. But my spending habits haven't changed. Yeah, so normal price I pay for things or for shoes. It's always been between like $80 to $150. When I was collecting shoes, it was much more than that. And
What? Okay, question. What was the most expensive shoe you bought?
I bought a pair of blue Supreme Nike SB high tops for $625. They were dead stock, which means like they were never worn. And then when I was 22, I traded that pair of shoes for 10 pairs of shoes. Which is really dope because all these shoes are like $150 each kind of thing. So I think I got the better side of the deal.
So you got some new shoes, essentially.
Yeah, I got some new shoes.
I haven't got any shoes.
And
Yeah, $600 for a pair of shoes would crush my soul.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would just kill me.
it was funny too because I wore the fuck out of them too.
Yeah.
Not to the point where they're
my
breaking,
biggest thing
but
is,
I
like,
wore the fuck out of them.
I've seen so many people, like especially when I was in high school, people had to keep the tag on their clothing to make sure people knew like how expensive their stuff is. Because if you looked at it, it would literally, oh, that's a pair of sneakers. That's a pair of like Jordans or something. People would leave the tag hanging off of
the sticker on the hats
because
street cred.
it had that was their like they had to justify the amount of money they spent on their shoes or whatever in that way. And because you can just go in. I mean, people who knew, like people who were into shoes would see the shoes and be like, man, those are expensive. But like people who don't, which is the average person who don't like care really about the price of shoes and stuff, would look at them and just be like, oh, that's just an average pair of shoes. But when you leave the tag on that shows the price that you spent on them, and I don't know, it just seemed a little odd to see people walking around with tags hanging off their shoes and stuff.
What about clothing? Would you spend a lot of money on clothing, or have you? What's the most expensive thing that you own clothing-wise, not shoes?
The most expensive thing I've ever spent money on was like a tuxedo, and it was like $600 or $700. But
do you wear it often?
I've worn it. Like I bought it at the end of high school when I graduated, and it was and it was really dumb. Like I don't know why I purchased it because it's always better to rent, which I'm not entirely sure why I didn't rent. But luckily it wasn't like super fitted or anything, so I don't know if I could wear it now, which is a sad thing. But I did get a pretty decent amount of use out of it. Like it just so happened that there were a lot of events that required it. But yeah, I don't know. I sort of feel okay with buying it, but at the end of the day, like I don't know. The only time I would spend like that money on clothing is if it's something like that, like
dress
Yeah.
clothes.
some kind
yeah.
of suit or something. Yeah, it's like something where it's like a really formal event. And yeah, I'm not gonna wear it all the time, but I guess at the end of the day, the better thing to do is to just rent your dress clothing and stuff. That's probably
But I mean,
the smarter thing to do.
It's not a bad thing that you invested in it, especially if you did use it a few times. Like, it's
Yeah,
always
no,
nice
I
to
mean,
have a good suit.
I feel good about the usage I got out of it, but I sort of wish I had rented just because it just makes a lot more sense. But I mean, I guess
Yeah.
the difference would be if you're like, say, the time that you would buy suits and stuff, in my opinion, would be like when you're not necessarily like old, or when you're at the point where you think you're done growing, you know. And then you buy a nice suit, and it's like if you're like a businessman or something where you're going to be going around a lot and you're going to be wearing your suit often, like maybe your job requires your suit, like it would totally be the best idea to just buy a suit, because renting is going to like add up, you know. You're going to spend more money renting a suit, you know, for your job or whatever, than just straight buying one and having it, which would make sense then. But so the situation I bought my suit was not the best situation. I probably shouldn't have, but I could never spend more than like $100 on anything that's like a t-shirt specifically. Even like a dress clothing, like you can get nice dress clothing for cheap. I feel like in terms of like a button-up shirt or something, like I don't see a reason to drop tons of money on something like that. I do think it would be like okay to spend a lot of money on like something that's like a winter coat, or like a nice coat or something that it's gonna be your
It's
go-to.
generally like what
clothing.
I've spent the most money on.
Yeah.
There's always like a coat, like some sort of winter coat.
Yeah, and that's something that like you're gonna have that for a while. It's gonna be, and that's all you're gonna wear like for that season and stuff, and that's gonna get a lot of usage. But you're gonna have a ton of shirts. You're gonna have a ton of pants. Probably you're gonna have a ton of shorts. So I never was big on spending a lot of money on
It's weird
something that I had a bunch of.
like for me, I feel like I would be more inclined to buy shoes that were more expensive, and then just buy like for the most part, I just wear like undershirt gray V-necks.
Oh yeah. Something that would be like if it was like your shoes, for instance. Your shoes make a lot more sense than anything else, because I mean those are your shoes. You're gonna be wearing them. I looked at them, and those look like a pair of shoes that you could wear for almost any occasion, for the most part, unless it's like super formal. But like any other time, you could wear those.
Then again,
whenever. So.
For my birthday, Babycorn's got me this really nice shirt that's like 80% cotton, 20% silk, and it's like the most comfortable shirt that I've ever like even touched.
Yeah, those shirts might be the most expensive shirts you own, I would think.
I would have no doubt in saying that that's
over
easily
100,
like
both of them for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the most I've spent on a t-shirt, but it wasn't for myself.
That's like that makes sense to me as well, just because it's super, like you said, it's like the most comfortable shirt you've worn.
Like I before that was always like, why would anybody spend that much money, or like why would anybody basically not just buy like a Target t-shirt? And then after I felt like 80% cotton, 20% silk, I was like, yeah, no, I mean, I would be willing to just have this, and I'm
How much
sure
was the
that's
shirt?
it's super expensive.
It was the leopard one, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, I want to say less than 120, a little less than 120.
Huh.
Oh my God. Thank you.
I mean, they're like really. You'd probably have to show them visually what they look like, because they're not just like a regular T-shirt. These are like really novel.
No,
like they're really like novelty T-shirts. But
yeah,
that's the thing though with clothing. And I guess you could tell with shoes, but the more expensive it is, or the more like high quality it is, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
It just feels so much more luxurious. I don't really know if I would have a budget for clothes, because I feel like it's such a vast world out there clothing wise, that there's just so much to choose from. If I really, really like it, then I want to buy it more than shoes. I don't know, maybe that's just I'm not really a shoe person. But if I saw something really unique, like a dress that like looked really cool and it had like a really cool print on it, and I thought like I could see myself wearing the shit out of this, I would probably invest in it. But for women, I think a really big thing, that we invest in are bags. Because that shit goes with you every day. It has to, like, I've had so many bags break on me, just the strap just deteriorates off my shoulder. That shit sucks. So I would probably go into the thousands for a bag if I had the money to spend. Like, that, you can tell. Just like clothing, you can tell the difference.
Yeah. I mean, I totally understand whole bag things. I mean, even with my backpack, like, I went for all my painting supplies, like, I went and made sure I got, like, a good one, and, you know, like, I have a Patagonia, and that's, like, a really nice backpack.
Yeah, it's something that's carrying all your important shit every day with you. You need that to last. So, I mean, the most expensive I've bought, I would say, is about $200, which isn't crazy for a bag, but, that lasted me forever. What kind of bag did you buy, Mathen?
It's like a 2-part bag. So, it's like a messenger, kind of like a tube shape, and it's like for biking and stuff. Because I had another one that was like a messenger bag, but that fell apart because the zipper could not handle how much shit I was putting in it. And so when if it was like stressed the wrong way, the zipper just ripped off, and I had to sew it back together. I'm sure you've seen the pictures. I had never sewn in my life.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bag. Okay.
Yeah, I think we were watching something, and but the bag, it's made out of like Cordura 500D or something, some kind of like water resistant, like almost rip proof material. It's like nylon something, and it's really dope. I think it fits 26 liters of stuff, and there's 2 parts in the inner bag. There's a waterproof part where I can put dirty clothes. If I have no dirty clothes with me, I put my lunch in there in a Tupperware so it doesn't touch my papers and stuff. And then there's like a laptop pouch on where your back sits, and has a bottle holder, kind of like a sleeve where it closes. And then there's an outer part of the backpack where I can choose to use it or not, but it basically rolls over and encases the inner bag, and I can put like a whole dress clothing outfit in there and roll it around, and it won't get creased. And I can fit shoes in it too.
I feel like for you, that's probably the best thing to invest in, is a really nice bag if you're on a bike.
Yeah, and I bought an inner bag for Dudu too.
For her to get in, or?
Yeah. Well, for her, just like a travel bag too. Whoever decided to go that route and go, because this was part of a Kickstarter thing, and I was like, "Fuck it!" Like, the whole thing came out to $434, and and then the clothes thing too. I think the most expensive things I bought was 2 pairs of 2 full ass suits from J. Crew. I think it was ass suits.
What's an ass
suit? When I say full ass suits, like everything, like jacket, pants,
full ass suit.
the dress shoes.
Your ass is just showing.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay. Cool.
Hello. Please go back.